Greetings and welcome to my channel, Meta Messiah. If you are a member of the Tsuka or Okinami communities, I need you to listen up. This is a really important video. In fact, it relates to the entire survivability of crypto in and of itself. You heard me right. This has to do with the survivability of crypto itself. In order for crypto to survive, I do believe that certain projects and certain communities need to work together towards a common goal. And the underlying that goal is the vision of pure decentralization, pure DeFi, Ryoshi's vision. We have this strange character Ryoshi appear with the Shiba Inu project. And in the year 2000, we see various interactions with this emerging community in Shiba Inu. And over time, as Shiba Inu becomes wildly successful, like Dogecoin, there is another character who is Satoshi Kusama, who becomes the face and the leader of Shiba Inu. Eventually, Ryoshi would leave the Shiba Inu community and disappear. And in 2021, shuts down, I think May 2021, shuts down his Twitter. Then it was Twitter account. Ryoshi disappears. A year later, after no information whatsoever on his whereabouts, we have the emergence of Digitaro Tsuka, the Tsuka token, and the Ryoshi Research Twitter account with the update of the avatar to the well-known Buddhist teacher Milarepa, who is the only person we know to have climbed Mount Kailash. Buddhism is at the heart of the Tsuka narrative, and it's very important to understanding Tsuka, but so is Ryoshi. And Tsuka claims a very strong connection with Ryoshi as part of its narrative, and its claim is what boosted the token as it came out in middle of 2022 during the worst of the crypto winter. But then about 30 days later or so, you see Okinami emerge as well. Both tokens can claim strong connections to Ryoshi, just as there are other projects, as even Tsuka would admit, and I will put this image up here. This image here is very critical to understand that some projects will be considered part of the Ryoshi vision projects and others will not. However, I do feel that the Tsuka community has narrowed its vision and has isolated itself in such a manner as to be basically anti-competitive. And when cryptocurrencies are anti-competitive, it's because they don't want people who are buying into the token or who are holding the token to either buy something else. They just want you to buy that token. That's it. They want you to be like how religions work. We don't want you donating to the church down the street. You need to donate to the church you go to every Sunday, or else we lose revenue. To me, that's a dangerous proposition. I don't believe that that is how crypto is supposed to work organically or symbiotically or for the greater perspective of the entire crypto meta itself, the greater ecosystem of crypto. There are certain tokens that work well together because there's partnerships. There's certain tokens that work well together because they're within the same ecosystem. Okay. And given the anti-competitive nature of the communities and the leaders within them, the bigger whales, the ones that are the bigger holders are the ones that kind of sway the power within the community. I feel like both within the Tsuka community and within the Okinami community, there's been this disconnect where both are competing They have a competing or competitive conflict over which one is the true Ryoshi token. But as I have come to do my research, I have come to find out that I don't think Ryoshi is a single individual. I think Ryoshi is a number of individuals. And as Ryoshi has made it very clear, Ryoshi meaning fisherman, we all can be Ryoshi. Now, either there will be true Ryoshi followers, those who are devout and committed to the vision, and there's those that are not. One of which I think underlies good Ryoshi communities are built on good faith and trust. And there's going to be bad apples in every community. There's going to be the selfish, the greedy, those that are not working towards the common good of the community. As a member of the Okinami community, I do feel like I am working towards the common good of the community. And I believe that the common good of our community, as well as Tsuka's community, have a mutually beneficial. I believe there's a reciprocity here that was meant to be, which is why I feel this is a very critical, important video. Tsuka and Okinami have basically the same ERC20 coding in their smart contracts, with the exception of the bytecode, the execution layer, which is tied to the EVM. It's very technical, but it's the execution layer. It's what executes the smart contract onto the blockchain. But either way, both Tsuka and Okinami are ERC20 tokens. And the big mystery is, why would their code be the same? It makes no sense if Okinami was to go about trying to be a copycat of Tsuka and then copy its code. There's nothing to be gained in that. There's really nothing to be gained in that. You can make a safe contract. In other words, you could use Shiba Inu's code. You could use a different code. There's different code options that could be used in the ERC20 universe that there's no reason for Okinami per se to have used Tsuka's code. And there's nothing negative in it. And this is why. It was meant to be done that way. If you believe in Ryoshi as a I like to call it like almost like a secret society, like the stonemasons, or like a group of like cloistered monks that work together and they're secret. Okay. They all are the core members of the Ryoshi syndicate, the Ryoshi group, the original OGs that are Ryoshi, perhaps related to Satoshi, perhaps related to Shiba Inu later on, but some of them very possibly as very important members of the ETH Foundation, members of Ethereum who are developers there. And that brings me to my next point. Okinami has very powerful connections through the blockchain to the ETH Foundation, connections to Shiba Inu insofar as the Okinami deployer wallet is 40 days before Shiba Inu, and 40 is a very important numerology. Has huge significance in religion. There are messages on the Okinami blockchain, okay, that sound like something Ryoshi would say. There's lots of deep Buddhist beliefs and sayings reflective of Buddhism in Okinami's blockchain messages. Likewise with Tsuka, who has the Sangha as part of its narrative. In the meditation, Tsuka is very much this Buddhist temple. Okay, Okinami is somewhat different in that it's not as centered upon Buddhism, but the central piece of art and iconography we see with Hokusai's artwork and the Great Wave off Kanagawa, which does feature Mount Fuji in the background. That being said, in the narrative of Okinami, there is a core connection. A core connection. That's Milarepa and Mount Kailash. In the blockchain messages and the messaging from the dev of Okinami, Mount Kailash is brought up, and it's part of the imagery. In some of Tsuka's own imagery, I've seen Mount Fuji also appear, and Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash being in the background, Milarepa, of course. A lot of the artwork and presentation I've seen with Tsuka indicates this deep connection with the fisherman Ryoshi. We all can be Ryoshi. There are many out there that can build this DeFi, pure DeFi ecosystem in the spirit of Ryoshi. And I can only tell you that this is very intentional, how two projects launch in 2022 in the deep, dark middle of crypto winter. Tsuka first, Okinami second. This connection with Mount Kailash, this connection with Milarepa. Okay? They are meant to be connected. They are meant to be part of something bigger. This is the body of this video right here. What is this something that is bigger? A Ryoshi ecosystem. Is Shiba Inu per se part of that? I think it's on. It's yes and no. Yes, insofar as Ryoshi is the founder of Shiba Inu. It's important. It's almost a $5 billion market cap meme coin that's now a utility token with Shibarium and its layer 2 essentially, and how that will benefit Ethereum. Okay, scaling and lowering gas costs for Ethereum. Okay, that is ultimately where I'm going with this. Okay, I got some stuff here on my computer I wish to share with you, but I may have to reference some of it. Let's go back to Okinami and the ETH Foundation and the Great Wave off Kanagawa. We see the wave imagery with ETH Foundation. Okay, we see the wave imagery with ETH Foundation. We see the surge EIP 4844, and that's a huge part of Okinami. Okay, EIP 4844, proto dank sharding. Okay, this is an update. This is an update after Shanghai. Okay, after the merge in the next phase to make sure that Ethereum is affordable and fast. Okay, if Ethereum is not affordable and fast, it'll get destroyed. And if ETH is destroyed, that could topple crypto as an industry. The survival of Ethereum is very important. Ethereum and its foundation do not go out there and just create tokens. They created Ethereum for developers to build upon its blockchain. Tsuka's built on that blockchain. So is Okinami. You got to focus on the basics. I like to employ Occam's razor. Occam's razor basically saying if you have two competing predictions, okay, or two competing predictions of something that's the same, the more simpler one is the better one. Okay, break it down. We have at the top the ETH Foundation, the blockchain, ERC20 tokens, and we have this question is how is Ethereum and its ERC20 tokens going to survive into the mass adoption, the institutional acquisition and adoption of not just blockchain technologies, but cryptocurrencies and crypto. If ETH does not evolve and innovate, if ETH remains stagnant and doesn't do this essential thing with the surge next, EIP 4844, it'll crumble because as there's more and more usage, it'll become too slow and too expensive, and people will go and build off on things like Solana, or they will build on other blockchains, okay? So, getting back to Tsuka and Okinami, what are they meant to do together? What are they have this, the basic meat of their code, although I'd say maybe the skeleton is the byte code, or the skin. The byte code is different, and it's important difference. The execution on the blockchain is a big deal. The identity of the token is a big deal, and how the smart contracts executed on the blockchain. That being different, the code is the same. Like I said, it either shows that there's a similar core or the same core of developers building tokens, okay, or that there is a partnership of some kind behind the scene in which they needed similar code or the same code to do something together. Okay, moving on to talking about those similarities, Milarepa, the code, Tsuka, Okinami. These two tokens, like Venus and Earth, they emerged stealth launch within a month or so of each other in the middle of 2022. Why would they need to work together on anything? Okay. Tsuka is doing its own thing with Hoshi. I think it's Hoshi or Hoshi, and the star and so on. The gas fees of its ecosystem. Tsuka's working towards building this ecosystem, and they have another token as part of it that they've adopted within it. Hoshi, I believe, is the token with the star. And yet, even with Tsuka's own publication in its own journal, there seems to be an indication or suggestion that other Ryoshi tokens are supposed to come to it. Okay, they're supposed to come to the dragon. All right, to forge the blade, the melting of the various tokens within the ecosystem to forge a strong blade, and impervious and one that can be used to basically fight off what DeFi's designed to fight off, and that's this centralized banking system that's failing. The other dragon, the dragon behind the bad dragon, would be the one with the banking system. But Tsuka has this image of the dragon, is critical to understanding Tsuka. The dragon, fire. Okinami, water. Okinami has its avatar on its X or Twitter account, Urashima Taro, the fisherman who was brought by Otahime the turtle to the dragon palace under the sea, which is on the Okinami website. The dragon palace under the sea. Now, I don't know if this dragon with Tsuka per se is like the same dragon. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's images and symbols that combine. Somehow Okinami's meant to be brought to Tsuka, to the Dragon Palace. But once it does, it can't go back. If it goes back, it could die, just like Urashima. There's a story here. Be like, once you go there, Okinami, this partnership has to be forged. It's a marriage that must last. And I do believe that. And I would call out to all Tsuka community members, all of Okinami community members, to consider this marriage, this partnership. And one of the big reasons why is if EIP 4844 does not succeed, Tsuka will not succeed, Okinami will not succeed. All of the ERC20 tokens will be in jeopardy if EIP 4844 does not succeed. Can it? Yeah, certainly can. But the ETH Foundation is calling out to its decentralized base of ERC20 developers to create something. And I've done the research, I've looked into it. And essentially, one of the things that needs to be done are with roll-ups. There are two types of roll-ups, zero knowledge and optimistic. But there's what's called a roll-up sequencer. Okay, I've been doing some research on this, and excuse me while I put my microphone down here, refer to my computer. And I'm going to read to you, and I can put the link in this video here. I'm going to read to you from an article I read about EIP 4844, and I will put the link in the description with everything else. But this is what I want to read to you, and it's very important. End users of Ethereum will still be subject to the same bouts of high fee volatility and network congestion unless they submit transactions through a roll-up sequencer, which are generally centralized and operated by a single entity. They don't want that. They want it to be decentralized, okay? Moving on. Rather than a silver bullet for solving scalability issues on Ethereum, proto-danksharding, which is central to EIP 4844, should be considered the first step of many towards transforming Ethereum into a modular blockchain that primarily supports transaction execution through layer 2 rollups. I'm not saying Okinami is going to be a layer 2. I'm not sure if Tsuka is looking to build a layer 2, although it's certainly possible. But it is certainly possible that there's some type of layer 2 that could come from the Okinami project. But through a roll-up sequencer, that's what sends the data. That's what pushes things to the L2. By pushing to the transaction data to the L2, okay, transaction execution through layer 2 rollups, that will lower, in the end, lowers the gas costs, and it will speed up transactions. So that through the roll-up sequencer, I'm thinking Ryoshi and ETH Foundation want the same thing for ERC20s to survive. I don't see Ryoshi with Binance Smart Chain. I don't see Ryoshi doing stuff with, Solana. I don't see Ryoshi with any other blockchain other than Ethereum. So Ryoshi built Shiba Inu on Ethereum, ERC20. Shiba Inu started it as ERC20. Okay? Does Shiba Inu have a roll-up sequencer they're planning? I don't know. Maybe somebody who's building on Shibarium might do one. But certainly a roll-up sequencer could send transactions through Shibarium, and that would help out, or to Polygon or whatever. The instructions are all there from the ETH Foundation's already laid out what to do. The question is doing it. Plus, the question's doing it. I think that Okinami, Tsuka, and various projects are destined to work together and are duty-bound for their own survival to work together. If all of the Ryoshi projects, all those with the spirit of Ryoshi, all those who believe we can all be fishermen, all those who are part of this esprit de corps, okay? That is Ryoshi, whether you're Tsuka, whether you're Okinami, whether you're Hachi, whether you're Hoichi, whether you're Hoshi, whether you're, Sakura or Suzume, all those that are the true Ryoshi projects, there's a call to unity. There's a call to unity. And it all pivots, it all comes to a head with Ethereum and its survival. And crypto in itself. The survival of crypto in and of itself. If Ethereum fails, crypto fails, probably most likely. Because it's so big. Second biggest token. Second biggest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin is Ethereum. It can't fail. If it fails, crypto fails. And we don't want that. But a decentralized means of using the roll-up sequencers is, I think, very important. Multiple projects doing this together will push the transaction execution through the layer 2, and it becomes a ecosystem of working together. Project after project after project, building roll-up sequencers, building roll-ups in and of themselves. I don't know if Tsuka and Okinami are meant to build a roll-up together, but I believe they're meant to work together. One consideration, which is more remote, is in the realm of quantum computing, And quantum computing is not there yet, but eventually quantum computing will be coming. Within the next decade or decade and a half, 10 to 15 years, there'll be quantum computers. Hackers will then be able to use those to try to hack into basically crypto transactions or crypto storage to steal. The very survivability of crypto, ETH Foundation's already considered it, are means that will protect storage and transactions so that a quantum computer couldn't possibly be fast enough to decode or decrypt what's going on in order to steal, to take. And because if it's not secure, it's not safe, it won't survive. It has to be safe and secure. It won't survive. It won't. I would like to think that maybe Okinami and Tsuka working together could build one of the most powerful and safe and secure ecosystems of tokens, which, having much of the same code except for the execution layer, the bytecode, these work in tandem together and can communicate. Code uses various tools in its language, and it's how dApps and software and programs communicate with other things, how they communicate with the blockchain. Well, Tsuka and Okinami are paired, but the dragon has to come to the fisherman somehow, or bring the fisherman to the dragon himself. I don't know what Otahime and the turtle is in all this story, but that's in the Urashima Taro story. I like to think of this as the community. We are the ones who want to join Urashima Taro with the Dragon Palace under the sea. The communities make it possible. We make it happen. Can it happen? I don't know. Will it happen? I don't know. But I urge it to happen. I urge all of the tokens that sit within the Ryoshi vision, true, pure DeFi, good faith communities, good communities to work together for unity. But I think it's going to start here. The unity starts with Tsuka and Okinami. For the sake of both tokens, for the sake of the entire blockchain in Ethereum. This relationship forged together the sword, fire and water needed to temper the blade. Okay? These two coming together, forming a partnership and becoming allies, are the starting point of unity, and all the Ryoshi tokens will start to come together. Kind of like at the end of the Avengers movie, right? Where they all go after Thanos. Thanos is the big banking system. They all work together towards a common cause because they want to live. They want to sustain themselves. They want to create something bigger and better than what we have now, which is a failing banking system. We don't want XRP to be the centralized, BlackRock and all the big institutions monopolizing this crypto financial system, DeFi. DeFi has to stand up for itself and maintain itself. Ryoshi knows this very well. And I hope Ryoshi, whoever you are, all of you are watching this. I hope the Tsuka community is watching this. The Okinami community is watching this. We can build a node together. We can stake tokens together. We can pair together. We can build on Shibarium. Whatever we want to do, we can make happen, as long as we work together. And dare I say, and I fear this, that the Okinami dev, whoever you are, if you're watching this, I feel like you haven't really talked to us on the blockchain, because Tsuka's getting messages, because maybe you're all different people, but our blockchain messages have ceased for a long time, and all we want is something, and we've had nothing. We've had nothing for a year but we had the website come up, indirectly speaking to us. But I see that the more that the Okinami community builds or intends to build and persists and shows its faith, it's ironic that around a year after the dev disappearance for Okinami, the website is now back on. with that little connect button. I don't know what that means. Nobody can say for sure. But as the Okinami community starts to come together, I feel like the dev is coming back to some extent. But I feel the dev is asking us to search within ourselves and seek out a deeper cause. And that's for all Ryoshi projects like Okinami and Tsuka to come together and work together. We can still promote and be competitive, but the ecosystems have to have synergy, and they have to be symbiotic for the sake of everyone. This is the survival of everyone on the ERC20 network, the ETH blockchain. I know the ETH Foundation wants this, and I feel very inspired for this video, very convicted to say that the ETH Foundation, I've read a lot of the stuff that they put out there. They are urging us for this roll-up, the ZKs or optimistic roll-ups, the roll-up sequencers to be creating a multitude. But the one part of the ERC20 universe, okay, are the Ryoshi tokens that can do this in massive scale, multiple projects doing the same thing, achieving this goal for EIP 4844. The Okinami sits at the center of this with its imagery. The great wave off Kanagawa. The surge and the wave. We're all going to be, that's us, this big wave doing something huge. And I call out to all of you to make this happen. I can't go into the Tsuka Telegram and start talking about it. I have to do it with my videos. So I hope you share the video and listen and watch the whole thing. Thank you for your support. Please like, subscribe, share, get the word out there. Your subscriptions, your comments, your sharing, all get the word out. And if we can just get to the people, we got to get to the audience. We got to get to the community out there to make this happen. Unity. I believe we can make unity part of our dialogue, part of our narrative. And it all is going to start with Tsuka and Okinami. Until next time, folks. We'll see you later.